After an interesting panel discussion, let's move to the next session from Hyderabad chapter. We have Sri Madhuri with us, who is going to talk about the topic Script Your Success Story. Yes, after looking at the product and all, this is another one of the motivational talk by Madhuri, where she's going to share her journey in the industry. So before we start the session, let me thank our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots. Innovation Roots is a leading consulting and training service provider, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneer in niche publishing service and well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more details, I request you to visit www.innovationroots.com website. So do's and don'ts. So please join 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers and headphones. Please keep your microphones muted and video disabled. Questions will be taken through chat box, and at the end of the session, facilitator or moderator will help you to read out the few of the questions as per the time available. Please fill the feedback form after the event. That will help us to understand more about what better we can do for the community. We appreciate your cooperation. So with this, I would like to welcome Madhuri, Sri Madhuri from Hyderabad chapter. Over to you.
Thanks, Prashant. Good evening, everyone. Looking forward to a great session with you all. As Prashant has already introduced me, so I'm Sri Madhuri, and I have been into the profession of project management for the past 8 years. I have been a successful project manager, though I have not been, from a technical stream. I was never a software engineer. I started off as an HR manager and then moved on to project management, as it really intrigued me, this particular stream. It is always, one of the most happening fields across the world. So I wanted to enjoy myself getting into this new journey. And so far, I've had really wonderful tenures in different, projects, and I've been working with various global clients. So I thought actually I could combine all my experiences from my professional journey and my personal journey as well, that can actually help people in understanding, like why we all focus our lives on dreams and aspirations, and some of us always feel scared to pursue our dreams. So that is the reason I have, titled my session as "Script Your Success Story." In fact, most of my quotes or famous lines are influenced by the famous legendary author Robin Sharma. So I'll start off with my first slide, which says "Treasure your energies." Yes. Success is an adjunct of the energies we invest to grab the opportunities. So, how is it like we differentiate ourselves from the rest of the world? Every human being is gifted with, his or her own strengths and drawbacks as well. But how do we transform our weaknesses also into strengths is what separates us from the rest of the world. So, like out of my own experiences, have come up with a few of these points, like why we should wake up early and introspect. Introspection is one of the most ancient practices of the mankind. If we do not introspect, we never would get an opportunity to work on our mistakes that we must have committed in the past. So that helps us in correcting ourselves and moving ahead. and looking into the future. So I think waking up early always has been an ancient practice, I think, for most of the Indians. I do not know about other cultures, but now we keep hearing people saying that, we should be part of this 5 a.m. club. We all have the benefits, advantages of, achieving things in a much better fashion when we wake up early. And also, reading a book that is inspirational. Reading a book doesn't always mean that we should read only the success stories or the successful, journeys of famous people. I would like to mention the name of uh, Alibaba's founder, Jack Ma, who once in an interview said that if he had ever an opportunity of writing a book, he would write a book about his failures, grand failures, rather than his success episodes, because he said that uh, out of his failures he could actually learn more than from his successes. So it's your perspective. Okay, we always should respect our failures as well, because they give us an opportunity to learn more. Plus it would transform us into better human beings and individuals. In addition to that, start journaling. Journaling is another fetching habit. I have this tendency of doing it occasionally. I think most of our ancestors also, I think ancestors in the sense, I would like to talk about my grandfather, my father, and a few of my uncles. I've seen them writing, So we come across a lot of, encounters in our day-to-day lives, in our professional lives as well. We do not expect actually, that, we would meet somebody very successful during our journeys, or like, during our professional activities. It helps us in, mirroring our thoughts, and that can actually also help us in writing a book probably in the near future. It's actually a valuable and priceless part of your life. And meditate in solitude for a few minutes. This again is like a placebo. I mean, or to be precise, what the reason why we always believe in meditation is that it gives us our, me time, where we can sit and talk to ourselves, talk to the supreme, power. And that's where actually we can regain our energies and start feeling much better, energized. What I mean to say is, and connect with nature frequently. This, I guess, for the past 20 years, I've seen people from different walks of life spending time, amidst nature, in the early hours or in the late hours. Nature need not be something like, going back to the wilds. Nature can be something like, getting onto your terrace early in the morning, or spending some time watering the plants, and listening to the sounds of nature. You know, the entire universe speaks to us if we have that sense to understand and grasp what is happening around us in an environment. That will actually help us transform ourselves into strong personalities. Then read about the failures and successes of anyone you like I've already mentioned about what Jack Ma has told. And likewise, I myself tend to share my own stories whenever, I address university students. I respect my failures and successes equally, because that's what actually made me what I am today. Write affirmations and read them every day. In fact, most of these points actually I have practiced myself, and hence I strongly can proclaim to the world that these have definitely helped me, and so will they help you. Writing affirmations, are like a daily ritual for me, because they help me stick to what I wish to do. They do not allow me to deviate from my path. This I do for my professional life, and also for my personal life. I have been writing affirmations since 2016. And I still have a document, like a, sticky note on my laptop. I keep looking at them, and they remind me of what I have done so far and what I should be achieving in the near future. In fact, affirmations help me in my professional life also, because we have goals for every year. As I'm the co-founder and director of an IT startup, we have annual goals to achieve, and we tend to interact with our employees during project meetings and daily scrum meetings. Like we have this practice of looking back, actually, see what have we done yesterday. Okay, have we achieved our sprint goals? Where do we stand? Is the product backlog updated? Are we in line with the sprint goal? So if we are maintaining a record of all these frequently, it is actually a confirmed thing that we will stick to the goals, and we will be successful. In fact, most of the project managers across the world have had successes because of one such of these practices. And assess and work on your attitude. Yes. So I strongly believe that if we do not have a healthy attitude, we do not stand a chance in uh, enlightening or empowering our own team members or peers. We ourselves stand as an example. So attitude is something like, positive attitude, of course, yes. See, nobody is born with an attitude. We build our attitude as we start embarking onto our journeys in professional and personal lives. But yes, uh, at regular intervals, we need to keep introspecting on what we have been doing. Have we really done justice to our professions? Did we actually keep up our promises? Are we justifying our stands? So there are a lot of aspects that we can look at, and that's where our attitude matters. Exercise daily and eat healthy. Yes, I would like to add a point here. Apart from being an entrepreneur, I'm a karate athlete also. I got a black belt at the age of 42, 2 years ago. And I strongly believe that psychologically, this sports episode of my life changed me and made me into a better human being. I stay very strong. I defy all the odds. I keep telling the people in my environment that age is definitely a number, and I stand as a good example for that. And always staying healthy, staying fit will help us in overcoming a lot of other drawbacks which have probably weighed us down in the past. We can always start. It's never too late to start. I was never a sports personality prior to embarking onto this journey of karate, but yes, I started. There is a beginning point for everything, and I still am practicing karate. I have a gold medal at national level. It actually inspires me to script new goals for my life. And likewise, I tend to motivate my employees and my friends, saying that just do it. Go on group tours with friends and family. Yes, we all are born as social human beings, and that sense of belongingness is something like an important piece of our lives. If we are, if we have, a small group of friends, we should always explore that aspect of life where we take a week off something, and spend time with people that actually energizes us, and we come back fresh for our next milestone in our lives. Conquer your fears. Fear is the only impediment to human greatness. Decode your fears to achieve personal and professional excellence. I think I strongly feel that fear separates us from the uh, people who have been more successful. than from the people who must have actually had more number of failures. Failures do not define a human being's abilities. It doesn't mean that. Actually, I think we have seen a lot of people, a lot of first timers for the past 100 years who have actually experimented like 1,000 times and then achieved successes. So the basic, actually, I think fear kills us even before we think of embarking onto our journeys to achieving human greatness. Embrace your fears as they are your mere imaginations. I myself used to be scared of facing crowd when I was a teenager. But slowly, as I started writing my own addresses during Independence Day celebrations, or any gathering where I was always called onto the stage to address a gathering. So I've come to a stage where I could speak without a script in front of my eyes. So it's like fear something actually is like a monster which is blown out of proportion because we think it is something that we cannot overpower. So chase your fears instead of running away from them. This again echoes that very thought that if you think that there is something that is stopping you from achieving your dreams, then face it. Never run away from it. The more you resist them, the more will they persist. When I was actually getting into the new stream of my career, the project management, I was completely speechless. I didn't know where to start. The terminology, the entire exercise itself looked like Greek and Latin to me. But I started somewhere. I got onto this book of Crosswind, and then I started also listening to a lot of videos on project management. And then after 2 to 3 months of back-to-back efforts, I became proficient in the terminology, and I started understanding. Okay, this is something which you need to absorb. You should transform yourself if you wish to become something else. Nobody is there to help you. You should help yourselves. So the more you resist them, the more they persist. It is self-explanatory. Your self-conceived fears are good enough to ruin your dreams. This I would like to reiterate. This is where we stand as great examples. So when we were children, right, we were always scared of darkness. But as we started growing up, we understood that this was something like we only got scared, or probably our elders stopped us from getting into the darkness for the fear of getting hurt or something. So anything is like an imagination at the end of the day, and then you should take control of your life. That's where you would know what to do at every point of your life. All the greatest achievers of this world failed a zillion times. I've already mentioned a few examples about this one. Even when I listen to the greatest Stanford address by Steve Jobs, his entire life was full of setbacks. But he always felt proud of his childhood and his journey to creating the successful, brand called Apple. So I think we should all also happily and proudly proclaim to the world that you achieved what you have achieved today after you have failed multiple times. Feel proud of everything that you have in your life. Never hide your drawbacks. I wouldn't say that we should go around propagating your failures, but yes, value them, carry them with pride. Fear is the only barrier between you and your road to greatness. Yes. When I was actually embarking onto this journey of karate, I spoke with my sensei. I asked him, I joined at the age of 39, and I asked him, is it possible for me to become an athlete? He just said that, you trust me, I'll hold your hand and take you through this. And it started there in the year 2017. And Yes, I've had a lot of setbacks while practicing because it was physically strenuous, and I had to compete with children who were 30 years younger to me. But that motivated me a lot. Seeing the kids, jumping very high and kicking the combat bags, and I've seen a few athletes who were in the age groups of 20s and 30s. So I went along, observed them. I could learn a lot by observing all these, achievers. Everybody inspired me. A 5-year toddler also inspires me. I keep learning from every aspect of life. We have people from different walks of life teaching us at every point of time. Fear is an opportunity that can transform you into a successful person. Absolutely. If everything is like like a successful book where you don't have to go through any setbacks, then there's nothing like uniqueness in your life. Just accept it, and that's where you can create new opportunities for yourselves. Deal with them instead of blaming someone or circumstances. Yeah, I always strongly tell the people in my environment, also my students from the past and from my current sessions, that it is the easiest part is like passing the buck or blaming a particular instance, or like we have seen people blaming their parents, say that you haven't actually helped me to get into the best of the universities across the nation, or somebody. It is everybody's dream probably to study at Harvard, but as Dr. Kalam has once said, being born as a poor man is probably not in your hands, but if you are dying a poor man, it definitely will be your mistake. So deal with them. Actually, I think we all are born with equal opportunities and abilities, and as we have millions of instances happening around us now, we have internet. I mean, I think I come from those times where we never had internet. We just had books in our hands. It was very difficult for us to learn any new skill or learn something like a new language. But now we have the best of the resources in our hands, which means that we can compete with many people across the world. The world is wide open with millions of opportunities. Control your fears before they start controlling your life. Yes, that's where you can script your own success story. Manage your time. I think this is something like we listen to millions of videos every day, which talks about time management. Time is a limited commodity available to mankind, and it slips from our hands like grains of sand before we realize its importance in our lives. uh, Everybody is gifted with 24 hours in a day, so nobody actually, I think, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, I mean, Steve Jobs of course is no more. If we talk about the most successful people from the corporate sector, they have this habit of managing their time, because they know that they have all of them actually have this practice of uh, penning down their goals frequently. They do it on a day-to-day basis. That's where actually they know that they have to compete with the rest of the world. If you have a goal in your life that you wish to be the most popular person in the world, or you want to be the next millionaire in the circuit, then how are you going to achieve it? So join the 5 a.m. club and succeed in managing your time. If your day starts early, I think you will have less deviations, less noisy environment, and then you can focus more, and you can knock off all the day's activities quite quickly. Set up time bound goals and knock them off as designated. Yes. Never have goals which are like open ended and you do not have any clarity about what you wish to do. You can have short term goals, like we always keep telling, like I was earlier mentioning about sprint goals. we define sprint goals even for like 1 hour work. Sometimes we define goals for a couple of weeks. We tend to write these all on on our probably sticky note, or you maintain a document, or you can write the goals anywhere you wish to. It is unique to everyone. But if you have some time, a fixed time to achieve these goals, then you can quickly achieve success in completing them. Human life itself is time bound, so are our goals and objectives. So like somebody has asked, if tomorrow is going to be the end of your life, what do you wish to do today, right? So if we have such a thought process, it is not to scare anyone, but yes, because we never know. I think for the past 2 years, the pandemic has taught us a lot of things. Now we started accustoming ourselves to working from homes. Now we all work virtually. uh, yes, but we have learned to manage our time well, though we are working with some disadvantages, like we have a very disrupting environment. Okay, we have to share the space with our families. Okay, frankly speaking, we have occupied their space. We are supposed to work in the office, but as we actually learn to coexist, we also should learn how to manage our time and have time bound goals. Today is the best day to do anything. Yes, I think, as we said, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So today is your best chance to discard the idea of procrastination, even for catastrophic reasons. When I meant catastrophic reasons, reasons which probably are not in your control, it doesn't mean that we can defy the entire world in doing what we wish to do. But yes, to the extent possible, never postpone your your work. And we keep discussing these points in our project meetings quite regularly. When we work in a global environment, our projects actually are I think are successful or failures because of our planning, our communication. We have clients sitting in a different part of the world, and we have teams working on the other side of the world, and we have to have like a buffer, a time where we can successfully complete our tasks. And we can only achieve it if we have time bound goals, like milestone based executions always help us in staying ahead of our goals. Prioritize your tasks and handle them independently. Yes, we also talk about prioritizing in projects as well. Okay, right. Because we have this, as I was talking about, the teams working from different parts of the world. We have some of our team members working in the United States and some working from India, and like they are like we are 10 to 12 hours ahead of them. So by the time we wind up our work, our teams start working. So they have to. It's like a relay race. So they start off from where we left. In order to make this exercise successful, we have to be well ahead of time. So that happens only if you are prioritizing your tasks. And this particular aspect of your project planning only will help you in making your project a success. You should be conscious of the fact that time cannot be bought. This we all know. Assume that today is your last day on this planet. This I've already mentioned. Become an expert in managing your time. Yes, as we always have seen, sun rises at a very stipulated time every day and sets similarly. And who teaches actually anyone to manage these, right? So we are one of the finest species of this earth, and we have better understanding. We are gifted with thought process, which means that we can be more successful than the rest of the species, and we can manage our times. Ace planning. Planning happens to be the most significant aspect of human life and stands decisive in the success or failure of a life or a project. I have actually scripted, types of planning. Planning is planning always, but I guess we can differentiate them and, title them because they are more relevant to a few situations in our professional and personal lives. ACE planning gives you a strong direction to your life. Why do we call this ACE planning? Because this is what is important. We have like 5 process groups in project management, starting from initiating and then planning. Without planning, we cannot move on to the execution. And planning actually again defines goals which are time bound and that can actually help us in achieving them without losing on vital aspects like scope of a project or as we call the triple constraints. In fact, budget is lesser significant in my view than the time we lose. If we are losing the time, we have to have an again we have to go through the planning aspect again, because we whatever timelines we have promised to the client cannot be managed. We have various stakeholders who have to be appraised about what has happened. If we have failed to execute this project based on the timelines we have agreed upon. So ACE planning is something which is very important in your life. Thoughtful planning can help you stay focused on your goals. Yes. When we talk about goals and also dreams, it's something that should be realistic in life. Okay. How old you are and what is your uh, next 5 years plan, or like what do you wish to achieve in your life? Have you actually done any introspection on this one? It's something like you should know what you are doing. It's not some because somebody has actually influenced your minds and you take up something which you are not sure of. Always have focused goals, and you should always have a vision about what you wish to do. So that is thoughtful planning. Contingency planning keeps you prepared for any eventualities. I think we all know about what contingency plans are. We have always seen that we promise the clients about executing a project in a period of 180 days, for instance. We should prepare ourselves to complete the project by at least 150 days, so that we have 30 days in buffer, and would allow us to deal with any uh, eventualities or like unexpected disruptions that can give us enough time to fix the whatever failures, or probably uh, we have promised something, and the product for instance we have promised some features about a product to the client, but we do not have today in our hand what was expected. So in such case, if you have time in your hands, you will always have that comfort zone to fix these issues and then move on and uh, keep up your promises which you have done to the clients. Strategic planning can keep you ahead of others in every aspect of your life. Strategies. Strategies are a part of every business, and then also like we see strategic planning happening in sports as well. We should know what we are going to do ahead. We have strategic planning in businesses. Mostly we see them because you have actually CEOs and the business group heads sitting, and and these meetings also involve stakeholders, and everybody actually has to be a part of this planning, and that's when you can see something forthcoming. Tactical planning can assure you of success in most of your pursuits. This again talks about your smart work. You should hard work always is appreciated, but smart work can bridge that gap between your successful journey and possible failure. World class planning can help you in meeting your deadlines. As we were talking about this particular aspect at the beginning of this planning, world class planning is something like you have a complete blueprint of what you wish to do ahead in the next 1 year, or if we are restricting our planning to a specific goal, then we would achieve what you already have envisioned. Then ideal planning can promise you in realizing your dreams. Yes, this also is very close to your tactical planning. It's just that you know what you are doing and you are conscious about what you are going to achieve. Holistic planning can keep your personal life and professional life blissful. Holistic talks about covering every aspect of your life. Okay, we are not only answerable to our employers, we are also answerable to our families. So we have to always channelize our personal and professional lives where we are living up to the promises made to every stakeholder in our lives. I call even a family stakeholder because they also are a part of our life, and without whose support we cannot achieve anything in life. Illustrative leadership, which means we have to be exemplary and lead from the front, striking a thin line of balance between steering reluctant teams towards a revolution and owning the responsibility of educating them about the futuristic goals that can be achieved by virtue of the change. As I was telling earlier, we have teams who are, we have multiple project teams today. A couple of them working from the United States, and the rest of the teams working from across India in different. They are currently, due to the pandemic, working from home, and it has been a difficult exercise for me in managing them, because we really don't know if they are logging on to their computers by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. as we have asked them to. This actually gave us a new challenge where we had to monitor them without hurting them. It never should look like micromanagement, but we have told them that this is an opportunity that you should utilize, where you anybody who is given an opportunity to become a team leader for the first time, this is your best chance to prove yourself. So we have made every team member a stakeholder, and somebody, giving them, making them feel special. We told them that we are all like a team, and that's what happens in Scrum teams. There is nobody like a project manager or somebody like a team leader. Everybody is equally responsible in a Scrum team, and we all have our duties carved out very clearly. So there is much clarity here. So a leader should never be somebody who would stand behind a team and then push the team. And if you do not take the ownership for what you are doing, then you do not call yourself as a leader. Do what is right rather than something that is easy. I always keep saying this, because the easiest, when you are actually embarking onto something which is very predictable, you never know, you are not going to see anything that is new so far. I mean, like, you probably have been doing the same thing for the past 10 years or 15 years in your life. So what makes you great from the rest of the world if you are not doing something which is slightly difficult from what you have been doing? I always keep saying this, when we look at these Paralympics athletes, they are very special. We respect them more because they've had their disadvantages, and they very courageously started wearing their hearts on their sleeves to embark on their journeys to achieving human greatness. That makes them more special than us, because they had to work harder than us, traverse the path that is less traversed or was never traversed. This also is similar to that fact. I've always treaded paths which were less treaded by most of the people. I've always chosen dreams which have been difficult. Sometimes when I go to this academy, my karate academy, I feel tired and exhausted. But when I look at the other athletes practicing, it motivates me. It gives me a fresh hope. Even 10 years down the line, I can see myself as an athlete. Never give up on just some incident probably that must have disappointed you or discouraged you. Look at the brighter side of it. Your strength lies in conflict resolution. Yes, running away from troubles or conflicts never would make you a true leader. Here, I would like to mention the example of Dr. Abdul Kalam's journey, into ISRO, whose mentor, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, always taught Dr. Abdul Kalam to, take up the responsibility for the failures of your team. When you take up the responsibility of failures, it always makes you a great leader and the greatest leader. You should be emotionally intelligent to endure uncertainty and agony. I think COVID stands as a great example. We never knew in 2020, at least when we started in Jan 2020, we did not know that we would be wearing masks, and then that would be like an integral part of our lives. But we quickly transformed ourselves. We accepted the reality, and we went ahead. It did not change our lives, the way we started looking at, of course it did change, the perspective towards life. We started valuing our relationships. Today we value everything that we have in our hands because we survived. We have seen so many people leaving us from our own environment, but we are still alive to see the future. Stay prepared for disturbance handling and distress regulation. Disturbance handling always happens, in our personal lives and also in our work environment. And it, nobody actually gives us any intimation well in advance saying that something, is going to befall you tomorrow. So how do you handle it? It's just that when you are bound to accept difficulties in your life, you can become a true leader. At the same time, you will be prepared to handle any eventualities, and that's where you can handle the disruptions as well. You can control yourself, and you can lead your teams as well. Train your folks to bear the weight of responsibilities. Nobody becomes a team manager or a leader just because he or she has achieved 10 years of experience in your company. You should give him or her an opportunity where he's given more responsibilities in a project work. You can tell them, I mean, we see these scenes happening every day in our work environment. When you give additional responsibilities to somebody, that is when he or she gets to know that he can achieve difficult things as well. So if you are somebody in an environment, professional environment, he or she never would grow into a leader tomorrow. Dare to be unique, as that can motivate you in defying monotony. This is one of my favorite quotes, and I've always strived to be unique, and I've been successful. Becoming an athlete at the age of 42 has now motivated me to the extent where I keep telling that sky is no longer the limit. I can become, I've always fostered this secret desire of becoming a pilot. Now I'm 44, but I know that my strong will definitely would make me a pilot even 5 years down the line. Always try to do things in a different fashion. That is when you can bring out your creativity and uniqueness. Challenge your limits, be adventurous, and claim your moments of glory. This doesn't mean that we jump off a cliff, but as we see the lives of mountaineers, we know that they embark onto unknown terrains. We don't know if they could come back alive, but they are very brave. They know that they can achieve something which the rest of the world hasn't. We see very few people getting into these difficult zones, but when you challenge your own limits, you can always achieve things that you never probably dreamt, you yourself haven't dreamt about in your childhood. And that's when you can script a glorious chapter in your life, and you become a part of history. Yeah, I hope actually I've covered everything. In fact, whatever examples I've quoted so far are most of them are a part of my personal life, and I keep telling everyone in my life, I mean in my environment, especially my employees, that look at my life. I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest personality on this earth, but yes, I've always refused to give up at any point of my life. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you very much, Shri. In fact, yes, yesterday when you were telling us about your journey towards India, how did you ups and downs you faced, and now after being a black belt, how you are helping others. So, what can you just give three important tips for anyone who are actually trying to struggle uh, to make up their professional career or anything? Uh, do you have any specific three crisp tips for them to look at?
The first important thing, Prashant, I would like to say is we should have clarity of our goals, right? We cannot embark onto something which is very unknown to us. Okay, everything is new when we start. As I was telling, when I stepped into the academy, sports academy, or for instance, when I became a project manager, the first time it was all unknown for me. Okay, so it as kids we had better practices in our lives. We would start writing, penning down our thoughts. So what we have to do is we have to have a planned goal. You know, for the first quarter, you can have short-term goals. Short-term goals can actually help you achieve things in a better fashion than to have long-term goals. Because if you have long-term goals, we cannot control most of the occurrences in our environment. That's the first aspect I would like to tell you, to focus on. Then the next aspect is read about the experiences of the people who are in your own stream. For instance, if you wish to become a scrum master, you were never a scrum master, okay, prior to this. And I was interacting with one industry expert. He told me that you don't have to be a technical expert or a technology expert to become a scrum master. It's just that you have to have very proficient communication skills and leadership skills. And also it's something like the scrum master's role is something like, it's, I strongly feel that he or she is not seen everywhere. Okay, the team performs the goals and then they finish it off. Scrum master actually only appears like for 15 minutes a day most of the time. He's available for the team, but his responsibility lies in empowering the entire team, saying, okay, if there is any disruption anywhere, okay, then he has to be present there and say that, okay, this is something which we have to sort out separately. So any role that you take up is very new on day one, but you can overcome all those probable inhibitions or fears by defining your short-term goals, as I said at the first point. Okay. And the third one is like, there are many ways of achieving things, but you yourself can, design a unique, plan for yourself. What I mean to say is, like, as I was telling you, world-class planning. How do you do it? Okay. When you start your day, like when we have meetings every day at 9 a.m., like I am telling about my own experience, we speak with the team every day. Okay. We interact. If somebody is not present, okay, you have to make your presence felt everywhere. If you stay unknown, or like if you stay invisible to the team or your the rest of the stakeholders, I mean to say, that cannot help you in influencing, or you can never become an influencer. Okay, so you have to be there as and when needed. Never become a bulldozer. That is a big no from my side. I am always there for my team, especially when the business deals actually happen, because I also head the business development division for my company. My manager, like the lady, my employee, she always requests me saying, ma'am, if you are there, we can close it. I say that I'm always there. But I do not intervene and disrupt the meeting, because there is a flow in everything. We should ensure that things happen very sequentially, and we should be present when, as and when there is an intervention needed, you should be present for that. So always have a clarity in your approach. Never become, a person responsible for any disturbance. You can actually handle it, but do not become the primary reason for it.
That's really a good point. So
Yeah.
now, as you are also an entrepreneur and you are managing a team, right? So, any one challenging situation which came across when you are managing your uh, team members or your colleagues, and how did you overcome that particular situation in that case?
There are many such instances. The first instance is like we employed youngsters when we started this company in 2016, and most of them were freshers and they were coming from very rural areas, and virtually they were unable to communicate anything in English. I'm not saying that we all should be proficient in English, but when we interact with clients who are only situated in Europe or in North America, and their mode of communication is restricted to English, we should be in a position at least to convey what we wish to convey. So making them in fact, we had to help them in transforming themselves into at least minimally acceptable communicators. It is very important because the team also has stakeholders here. It's not just the product owner is the only stakeholder. You should know what you are doing and you should be able to at least present your thoughts clearly. You are technically very strong, but you do not know how to present yourself. That actually portrays you as a failure. And it's very unfortunate. So the first 2 years have been really very tough because we had to sit with individuals and tell them that you yourself have to initiate it. We can help you, but we cannot drive this journey for you. You have to drive yourselves. It was very difficult initially, but slowly they started understanding, and today most of them actually have and some of them are still with us, but some of them got into bigger companies like HCL, IBM, and it makes us happy. We always say that we never would like to stop your successful journeys. Move on, move ahead, explore. And that's when you get to know about something new in the world. And last year, actually, I think earlier I was sharing this experience with you. I had to travel to the United States because we had some escalations at the client's place in New Jersey, and it was this crucial phase where second wave was speaking in India, and I had to rush to the United States. And when I went to the client place, this is actually a grand failure. I would like to give this example because we were under the impression of something and the entire product came out to be something else. The client wanted an Amazon like a website, and we came up with something which was not, which was never close to Amazon. But it was not just our fault, it was a fault of the client as well, because he was never sitting in any of the meetings. So communication channel is very important in project management. We keep reiterating we have multiple communication channels. We should have hierarchical levels where we can constantly communicate. If the product owner is not available, he can't sit in the meetings. He should designate somebody to be a part of frequent meetings, at least twice or 3 times in a week, where they know. So that is where I think Agile methodology helps. We know everything is predictable. Changes happen. We tend to tweak some features of the possible product. But it is something like if you actually show up in the meetings only once in a quarter or at the end of 6 months, definitely you can't see anything that you would expect. So we had to redo everything, and I was sitting at the client place, and my team was way back in India, and the client was literally yelling at me. So I said, like, let's have the meeting offline. I didn't want my employees to be baffled by what was happening, because they never saw that side of the client for the first time. So as a leader, I took it upon myself. I faced the music on my own. So I strongly feel that I don't push my employees into that ocean and say, you just face the client. That doesn't make you a leader.
That's true. As a
And
leader, we need to.
yeah, so
Yeah,
a
please.
project which actually was supposed to be executed prior to 3 months, then we spent like 18 hours a day, and by the end of that 3 months period, we came up with this final website, the portal, e-commerce portal, which he expected, and he was very happy that we could bring up something that he expected.
Thank you very much, Sri. I would like to thank you on behalf of the community for coming and sharing your story. And I hope many of them must have really felt that they much are connected with the challenges what you have faced, and they can see a hope there that yeah, if there is a will, there is a way, right? So
Absolutely.
all the best for your all the future this these things coming. And on behalf of the community, I would like to thank you. And with this, we will uh, come to an end of the this particular session. And
Thank you.
we'll
Thanks, Prashant.
thank you very much, Sri.